Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast we have the amazing Ciara Miller from Summer House on Bravo. Ciara is the lone full-time new cast member added to Summer House for season 5, which is currently winding down. I'm very sad that it's winding down because it's been an amazing season, but I'm really happy that I got some time with Ciara to talk with her because I've talked with everyone else on Summer House multiple times, and so it was really nice to get some time with her and just pick her brain about joining the show. And, you know, even her time before the show. Ciara was a nurse at the beginning of the pandemic before she took some time off to film the show. But she was full-time in a hospital during those couple months last year. And, you know, to hear her kind of reflect on that a year later was really awesome and really, I mean, clearly it was a very intense experience, and for her to jump from that to filming this reality show for 6 weeks while locked in a house with people she had never met before, that's a lot. So to hear her talking through that was really interesting to hear. And I also got her, you know, once and for all to break down what was her relationship with Luke and what went wrong and why did, you know, their friendship kind of dissolve or their relationship kind of resolve, because they clearly both wanted different things in this, and she kind of, you know, went out the other side. But, you know, I wanted to hear her in her words, without anybody else's opinion, without anybody else's side, what happened with Luke. And kind of connected to that, you know, because I think on the show, how it came across was Hannah really being really intense and pursuing her as a friend very intensely right off the bat, the first night they met. And in Ciara's mind, that's not really how it went. And I think for Ciara, it was a way more kind of even playing field and a very more like mutually beneficial friendship than I think it came across this season. I think with Hannah, we focus on the drama of her life this summer versus maybe some of these friendships she was nurturing. But Ciara, it was really interesting to hear about that because I think, again, that's not how it comes across in the show. So her and Hannah seem to genuinely be friends and genuinely really like each other. So it was nice to actually hear that. And, you know, I also got Ciara's thoughts on all the other couples in the house, because I think Ciara, you know, she came in taking a break from work, rightfully so, and she just chilled kind of the whole summer. And so she had kind of like the point of view of somebody just like observing, she had nothing. She didn't really have anything in this fight with a lot of this different drama. And so she really like was kind of the voice of the people in some of her confessionals, which was made for some great quips, and she kind of read some of these situations really nicely. And then also just her opening up about her relationship with her dad. And like, I think coming onto these shows, you know, you think it's just going to be about the drama and the relationships and whatnot, but no, there is that expectation that you're going to open up on a different level and on a very personal level. So for her to be so game to do that was also really nice to see, and I think it was really emotional in a really touching and rewarding way, I think. And, you know, just so you know, we couldn't really talk about Winter House because that has not been confirmed by Bravo. And since we recorded this interview, Ciara and her co-star Paige have apparently been down in Charleston hanging out with Craig and Austin, who are also in the Winter House with them. Again, none of this has been confirmed, and it's just based on like Dumois tips and things like that. But there's something going on there, and we couldn't really talk about it. But we did talk about her kind of sexual tension with Carl. So anyway, that's my interview with Ciara. Before I get to that, though, you know, it's kind of crazy that the Oscars are in 2 weeks. Not only just because like they've been delayed for over 2 months, but also because I feel like there's not really that much anticipation. Like it's been a really off year for award season, and it just like doesn't feel as climactic. Like it just feels a little bit like kind of like deflated. And I don't know if it's like just because of the pandemic or because the award shows aren't as fun this year or because the movies aren't as good. I don't know. But like I have having a really hard time getting myself to watch all the movies. And every year I do try to watch the movies in every major category. And I usually get to most of them. But this year I'm really struggling. And I think it's partially because, you know, I love going to the movies. And part of that reason is because you're going there for a reason. You're sitting there. You can't really open your phone because then otherwise the light will pop up, and, you know, you can't use your phone in the movie theaters. So you really have to concentrate for over 2 hours on these movies. And to do so now, like just sitting on my couch alone and not look at my phone during it, it's like, I'm going to look at my phone and then 5 minutes pass, then I'll have no idea what happened in the movie. I'm going to rewind, and then it just makes it a whole whole thing. It makes it longer. Now I'm just rambling, but you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to find the motivation, I think, to watch a lot of these movies. Like, it's like I make a list on my phone every year in the Notes app, just like checking off what I've watched and what I've not. And like, there are a lot of things unchecked on this list, and like, I just like don't know if I can get myself to watch Mank, an over 2 hour movie that's in black and white. Like, about old Hollywood. Like, I just don't know if like I'm gonna do that, you guys. Like, I'm so sorry. So if you ask me if I watched some of these movies, like the answer is more likely going to be no than yes. I mean, I have loved some of the movies this year, like Minari, amazing. Nomadland, amazing. One Night in Miami, I really loved, even though that kind of got snubbed this year. There have been a lot of amazing movies, but a lot of movies that I just don't really want to watch that badly. So anyway, I don't know. Like, those are my very unoriginal rambling thoughts on award season and the Oscars. Like, I'm going to try to get some more movies in before those come up in like a week and a half or so or something, which is crazy. But yeah, that's just, I mean, I'm just sort of like on award season this year. And maybe it's because I'm not working it. Usually I work it every year for work, and this year I'm not doing that, which is kind of a godsend. But anyway, it is what it is. That's award season this year. But keep listening for my interview with Ciara Miller from Summer House, and don't forget to tune in to the final 2 episodes of Summer House on Thursdays at 9 p.m. only on Bravo. And please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so we're here with Ciara Miller from Summer House. Ciara, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you. I just told you, like, I've talked to everyone from Summer House over the years since season 1. Since that was essentially right around when I started my job. So it's been fun to kind of get to know the cast over the years, and I'm always excited to see a new face.
Yes, you finally have someone new to interview.
Exactly. So for you, I mean, we're in the middle of Summer House season 5. It's your first season, and the show has gone through a big evolution in the past. But for you, how has this experience been like overall? Like, I mean, like, you filmed, we're halfway through it airing. You must have some thoughts on sort of how that differed from at least your expectations of the experience.
I don't even know if like I could have been prepared. It was definitely different just having to live with people that I don't know in a house for 6 weeks or a little bit longer. Like, I mean, that in itself is like crazy. I just volunteered 10 random people. So, I mean, even like talking to the other people in the house, they're like, honestly, we don't even know what to tell you because we've never done this either. Like, we're used to just only getting everyone in doses, like for the weekend, but now it's 24/7.
So had you done, I mean, like, regardless of filming, had you done share houses before, or was this like a completely new experience for you in all regard?
Yeah, never done a share house. I mean, like, the longest is like we take weekend trips with a group.
Yeah.
And then we all go home. Like, never done like an extended 7-week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean you haven't been locked in a house with random strangers for 6 weeks before? Like, how is that? How have you never done that before?
Yeah, no. I mean, even in quarantine, like, I was by myself, me and my cat.
So when you think back to last summer, I mean, you were obviously coming off of a really intense experience with work and being a nurse during the beginning of COVID. And then you come into this, again, a very different intense experience, but definitely an intense experience filming the show.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual filming of it and just like living this experience, how did it, what was it like for you? Like, was there a learning curve for you? What did you kind of learn along the way, just during those 6 weeks?
I mean, it's definitely a learning curve of having a camera in your face and then like having to talk about some like, I mean, you talk about good times, you talk about some trivial things, and just kind of like, it was almost kind of therapeutic at some point in time.
I'm sure.
Because like, you do have to like bare your soul and like open up and get to know people, and like a lot faster than you would normally. And like, I feel like that's what bonds us. Like, there's no experience like this. And I feel like I got to know like these real people, and they got to know like my real story. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely, I was like so happy to be in the house because I needed a break from the hospital and I was just like tired. So it was good to actually sit around and do nothing, but it was also good to like meet new people in such a different social setting than the hospital.
Yeah. So but before we get too far into Summer House, I would love to just hear a little bit about that experience that you had, because I think we got a glimpse of that on the show. But just like, I mean, and you probably don't want to relive it too much, but just like when you think, I mean, it's been a year now since the beginning of the pandemic, and I mean, how do you sort of think back to that period of your life before you jumped into the Summer House and you were, you were working at the hospital all the time, and there was just like, I mean, it's unprecedented time. So how do you sort of think back to those couple months of your life?
Well, I mean, I always say like nursing was hard pre-pandemic, and like I'm ICU, so that's all I know. I only know the critical care. That's the only place I've ever practiced in. So like, I mean, it's tough. It was definitely tough pre-pandemic. I mean, the amount of work that goes into taking care of these patients it's a lot. And so adding a pandemic on top of there being like a nurse shortage was pretty unexplainable. And I think that I feel like nurses are finally kind of getting the recognition that we've always been worthy of. People don't realize it's like literally nothing can happen without the nurse. Like doctor, you can put in an order all day. You can tell somebody that they need this and that, but it does not get done unless you have a nurse. And like the pandemic really kind of highlighted just how special nurses are. But I mean, it was tough. I mean, I worked in Texas and I worked in New York. I worked over in Brooklyn. And then I was in my hospital in Atlanta right before the pandemic hit. But I feel like ICU nurses and nurses, we are a different breed because we do have to experience so much like death. But there's a lot of good too. It's not all bad, and it's not all sad stories. You kind of really highlight the good to kind of outweigh the bad, and honestly, it just becomes so normal. It becomes my normal, which I don't think anybody should ever be super used to death, but unfortunately I am, and it's a circle of life, but there's a silver lining in every situation, and I'm thankful for the experience, really.
And I would say that we're all thankful for the work that you've done. And I think that's, I mean, and I think that you just, I mean, it's not every day that, people that watch Bravo, we aren't used to seeing people who have a job like yours come onto a show like Summer House or like any of those shows on Bravo. And I think that, it was honestly amazing to be introduced to you in that regard only. You know what I mean? It's like, it was cool. It was cool to hear that story. So are you back to nursing since the show, or are you taking a break?
Yeah, I go back and forth. So I've just been taking like short contracts and stuff in between the different filming and whatnot. But like, there's one part of me that I love, and I don't want my critical thinking skills to leave me. So I feel like whenever I'm out for an extended amount of time, it's like I get a little rusty, but then like it's kind of like just muscle memory sometimes. But no, I love it. I'm fearful to one day not do it, but I mean, I know that it's so mentally and emotionally taxing that I know. For me personally, I don't think it's something that I could maintain for like long
365, right? Exactly.
Yeah. I won't be a veteran nurse. I know I won't. It's a tough job, and the veteran nurses out there, they're amazing. But I know like mentally, I'm not tough enough.
Well, I mean, you've already gotten several years of that experience. I think that will probably that'll stay with you for the rest of your life. Yeah, exactly. Like that, you'll never forget this.
I just worked a pandemic.
Exactly. Wild. So yeah, after those several months, you take a break and you jump into this experience with Summer House, and Luke is really who is your connection to the house. You arrive with him later than everyone else. Once and for all, I'd love for you to just like, what is and was your relationship with Luke? Because I feel like we've gotten bits and pieces, and I think that we've gotten several sides to the story. Yeah. But for you, in your words, what is your relationship with Luke going in, and then I guess now?
I mean, like going in, I thought we were gonna be like friends. Like we kind of like, I've known like a couple years prior to us going to the house, and like we have tried the romantic route, and it's kind of gone awry a couple of times. So like, let's get back to the point where like we can be like good friends. I wasn't closing the door on him completely, but like I was like, let's just like work on being friends, because we really didn't have a relationship where we could be friends. And then so going into the house, we were kind of like back to our old like banter a little bit, and just kind of keeping it light.
Yeah. But then I feel like, again, like you said, you wanted to be friends with him, and you wanted to sort of like just have that friendship. And I think that that makes sense. Again, if you look at the group, it's sort of like, I feel like most of the people in the house have sort of like their buddy in the house. You know, it's like Lindsay and Danielle, Amanda and Kyle, Paige and Hannah. You know, like a lot of them have like their kind of like buddy, and it makes sense that you'd want that with Luke. And then, but for you, like, what was the moment that you sort of realized that that's not what you're going to get from Luke? Like that he wasn't going to be like, sort of like just that friend for you for those 6 weeks.
It was like the moment I realized that he like wanted to try something more, and I just like wasn't in that headspace. I mean, like just kind of like comparing notes and like with Hannah, and like I was just like, I don't have the energy, and this is not, we've done that.
It's not what you wanted, right? It wasn't going to work.
We've done that. It didn't work, and it doesn't even feel like it's working now. And like, I wasn't necessarily a fan of how the love triangle situation was handled. So, I mean, there are things that I feel like I need, and well, I'll just say, like, I'm not going to, if we fool around, okay, I don't even know if I wasn't even into that. I just was like, there are certain things I know that I need in a relationship, and I just know that I wasn't going to get it with him. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm curious from your perspective also, because again, so like you kind of see that Luke isn't going to be sort of like this person for you. And then I think right away, and I think I've seen fans say this on social media, is sort of like Hannah did really kind of like come on to you strong. I think like from the get-go and you know, I think there's different sort of interpretations of that, and sort of like what her maybe intention was to really befriend you really quickly. And like, I don't think it necessarily is a good or bad thing, but did you feel that in the moment? And sort of how do you think back to sort of like those first moments with Hannah? Because I do feel like, you know, just watching it back, it's like she was, you know, she was trying to be your friend for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And
I watched it back, but I like didn't feel like it was like overbearing or like she had some ulterior motives. I didn't feel like that at all. Honestly, like the way, and I feel like they didn't show a lot of me and Hannah's friendship, you know, throughout the summer, because it wasn't just like Luke, you know, like I figured, right. Yeah. Like we were both kind of going through like, you know, you break up with these guys and like kind of just like relating to each other on a girl level. It's like we have these struggles we're trying to figure out. We also have like a lot of like different traumas that we're sorting through, like talking about mental health and just like how to be right and like what we need to do to like find the person that we're supposed to be with. So those were like key moments that I feel like really bonded us. And to say that it stemmed from like just the situation with Luke would really cheapen like, I think, the value that I place on our friendship. So, I mean, no,
okay, good. I mean, I
by her, like people forget, like I knew Luke 2 years prior to coming to the house. So chances are I probably already dealt with some shit. So.
Right. So would you say that Hannah was the person that you did click with the best out of the group right away? Or who else did you sort of feel that sort of instant connection with in the house?
Definitely Hannah and Amanda. And then later on, like Paige, and then Danielle too. I feel like me and Danielle had a lot of really great talks. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I was really connected with a lot of people in their own way.
That's what it seems. I feel like, I mean, if I just like look at your experience on the show so far that we've seen, at least, I feel like you came in as a new person who was somehow able to sort of like strike up connections with a majority of the house in a really genuine way. And kind of like, I mean, I think, you know, by proxy, like you were always going to be sort of like attached to the Luke situation. But like, other than that, you avoided a lot of the drama, you know, and you were sort of there as sort of like, sort of the voice of the people and sort of just like the person that sort of had the, like, you like kind of read the situation really well each time. And did you feel like that? Did you feel like you sort of like were able to sort of navigate this
I was
really chaotic situation?
Yeah, I was like, I don't have much skin in the game. So like, you guys are arguing about shit that happened like summers ago. Wasn't here. Can't talk about it. Don't really know. But like, I'll tell you what I think. Like, you know, I don't know. I just was like, I will be a listening ear to you always. And, you know, if you're wrong, you're wrong. And if you're like, if I can agree with you, then I'll just tell you my opinion. That's kind of like my stance in the house.
Yeah. And you know, throughout the summer, I feel like every episode we see you like just chilling, and it's like you're taking this much needed break from work, and it's like it's such a vibe, and I'm like, I just want to be doing that too. Like I just want to be like living Ciara's life this summer. Like, do you like is that an accurate depiction of what you were up to that summer? Is just like really laying back and just like living your life?
I mean, like at one point I was like, I kind of feel bad. I'm literally doing nothing. I was like, Amanda, if you need help packaging things, like let me know. I can package things, but like I will probably be on the patio on my computer watching movies or just doing whatever. I mean,
love it.
Good chill summer with the exception of some drama, but it was definitely well needed.
Totally. And something I have seen like on social media is there's people have a lot to say about your messy room. Like whenever we cut to your room, there's it looks like a tornado has gone off. What is that? What do you have to say about that? Because people have stuff to say.
I want to say that I'm messy, and I'm gonna own it. Unfortunately, I'm messy, but you know what? I will hire a cleaning person in a heartbeat. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that this summer. So whatever. But people want to act like their rooms are always immaculate. Like I did clean my room throughout the summer, but it would be like days when we had an off day or something, and then we'd need to go to an event. So I'm like getting ready really fast and just everywhere. And then like you got to wake up and start filming again. So I'm like, and then like I felt like my storage situation, like my dresser, like wasn't a dresser, like with pull-out drawers.
Got it.
It was like a sliding door with no shelves. So it was like, should I just
you were set up to fail. You were set up to fail. Come on.
Yeah, like I got there last. I didn't get to pick my room. I kind of got what was left. And then people brought like organization stuff from like the city. I was literally living out of a storage unit and just like exchanging my clothes in and out whenever I was because I was traveling and I was like dressing for the climate. So I didn't have like a bunch of hangers and a good dresser. Like
also to be fair, I mean, this summer in this season, you guys, it's always a thing on Summer House where like every weekend there's like 20 boxes from Amazon that show up. But like this year, I feel like the ordering was like next level because you guys had all these like an extra amount of themed situations. You had literally parties in your rooms, like you know.
We had time, and like, I mean, I would literally sit on Amazon and just think of shit.
I love that.
That's like the prime example of me not having anything to fucking do.
Just ordering stuff online. It is what it is. And then another expectation of being on a show like this and coming into the show is that you will open up about like most aspects of your life. You know, it's not just about your love life. It's not just about what happens in the house. You know, I think that there is an expectation that we'll learn more about you on a deeper level. And I think that, again, you have definitely checked that box. And I think that like, in a really real way, I think that, you know, you opening up about your dad, especially, was like an incredibly, just like a heartfelt, genuine moment that like I felt for you. I think I saw a lot of people felt for you as well. And I think that they appreciate you opening up in addition to everyone else sort of like coming to your support, like especially in that poolside moment, that was really kind of special. Yeah. What was that aspect of it like for you? Because it's definitely, I'm sure it's not easy opening up about your family because, you know, on the surface, they don't really have anything to do with the show, you know, but then you sort of bring him into it a little bit. So what was that part of this experience like for you?
Oh man, it was definitely scary. And like, even watching it, I get emotional. It's just like one of those, it's like, I don't want to be a victim of the situation because I mean, it has definitely contributed to me being the person that I am today. And I'm thankful for that. And I feel like, you know, God puts you through certain situations for a reason. But like with everything in my being, want to take that and learn from it and do better and learn, and like hopefully things will be different for my kids. But it's like emotional to watch that and then like to not have much of a response from my dad on that side is like, you know, it's unfortunate, but I've kind of learned to navigate that relationship in a way where like he might not ever see it from my perspective, and that's something that I'm gonna have to be okay with. But all I can do is forgive him on my part and continue to move forward. And I don't know. I just hope that we can get it together by the time like I have kids and
Right.
he's a grandpa, because I want him to be like the most present grandpa, just like his dad was for me. So
Yeah. And I think that, I think last thing about this, but I think that, you say you're doing everything you can. And I think that like you talking about it on this platform in some ways is you sort of like reaching out, it's in some ways that is like, you taking that extra step to really kind of try to reach him. And, if he doesn't respond to that, that's sort of on him. But I think that, again, you opening up about it was really special. And I think it took a lot of courage to open up about that.
Yeah. And it's like part of the healing process. It's like, if I kept this in, I feel like I would never heal from it. But I feel like I've gotten so many amazing messages of like similar stories. And although I hate it for like other people having to experience that, it's like, that's amazing. I know I'm not the only one going through something like that. And it's amazing to hear how other people have handled their story. And honestly, I do take like a piece of wisdom and like, see if I can like incorporate it with my situation and my relationship.
Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
awesome. Well, I think, we'll see with that, but I think I want to go through a little quick fire with you about just like various pairings in the house to get your quick thoughts on what they went through this summer or where they're at now. Lindsay and Steven.
Walking on fire. Yeah, I mean, I was right next to their room, so like right across the hallway. So I feel like I kind of got first row seat whenever there was like a loud argument.
So you were there for the sandwich comment, you were.
I probably lived in my bathroom, like the bathroom in my room. The wall was like paper thin. I could probably hear everything. So,
you're like ear to the wall.
Yeah. No, sometimes, yeah.
I love that. What about Lindsay and Luke? There's obviously those rumors came up a couple episodes ago. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't care. I'm so done with anything that has to do with Luke potentially banging somebody. I'm like, good, great, good for you, awesome.
Get over me, right?
I'm cheering you on. I could see it. I could not see it. Whatever,
Yeah. Kyle and Amanda, what, you came in when they were at a very, very good point in their relationship, but obviously in years past, they had their struggles. What do you think about them this summer?
I think that they're just like a hilarious pair. I mean, it's impossible to take Kyle seriously sometimes, but like, yeah, they're crazy. And Amanda is a heart of gold.
Yes. Totally.
She is the best girlfriend I've ever met. And I'm like, if ever you want to leave Kyle, like,
you're free.
I would be open to this.
I interviewed her a couple weeks ago, and mid-interview, she's like, "Oh, do you want a Loverboy sweatshirt?" And she like got my address mid-interview and sent it to me. I'm like, she's the best. Like,
it's like, yeah, you cannot help but love her.
Yes. What about Hannah and Des? So, I mean, obviously he comes in like halfway through the season. What are your thoughts on them?
Okay, I love them. I have been a Des stan from day one. He's hilarious, and they're just so good together, and they're just so themselves. Like,
they seem very compatible.
Yeah, and I love hanging out with them, even like after the show. I love them.
Totally. And then
Des is good to her girlfriends, so that's
he's
great.
what?
He's good to her.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's a good quality.
Yeah,
I love that. Paige and Perry. Not together anymore, but they were together last summer, I think, still. So,
well, I don't really know them together. I kind of only know Paige and Paige's perspective, but like, I mean, Perry seems like a nice guy. I just, she wasn't supposed to be with him, and that's okay. And now she can focus on herself. And honestly, I fucking love single Paige. Like,
It's a little tease, I feel. I'm excited for that.
We're a good pair.
Fun. Okay. I love that. And then the last little, I guess, pairing is like, and it's not a pairing, but there was, I feel like throughout the summer, there's like a little bit of like not a tension between you and Carl, but like, there's definitely like a connection of some sort between you two, I think. And like, like there, you had some moments. What about you and Carl? Can you explain to sort of your dynamic at least, and just sort of like what kind of connection that is?
I think Carl is like an amazing human. Like he just has this he's got a really good heart, and like this summer he was really working on himself. So I feel like we got to have like some good conversations. Yeah, there's definitely like some attraction there. Like, don't get me wrong, he's so hot, but like even on like a mental and emotional level, like he's just like honestly such a good person. And like, I don't know, there was something that I was just like drawn to when I met him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's just like come so far during his 5 or 6 years on this show. It's like, it's insane, like the growth that he's shown. I think it's nice that you get to see sort of like the sort of apex of that, I feel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think more broadly about this experience, I think that like you mentioned a couple of like people were reaching out with different stories that they had that, you know, as they related to you. And, you know, obviously you have never experienced anything like this show before. So I think like your social followings probably like skyrocketed, and, you know, like your DMs were probably blowing up, and, you know, Bravo social media has a lot to say about a lot of things. And I'm curious, like what from that aspect of this experience, what was that like for you? Was there anything that was like hard to overcome from that capacity, or did you feel mostly support from people? Because I think it's been a fairly positive reception to you this season.
I mean, I feel like I've seen both, and like I appreciate both sides of it, honestly. It has been tough to read like not nice comments, and like, you know, sometimes, I mean, it's just kind of, I feel like that'll always be hard to read, like, you know, because they don't know you on a personal level. Like know you based
they know what they're
like,
seeing.
Yeah, they know what they're seeing based on these like however many episodes, you know. So it's kind of like I have to remember like they don't really know me, and you know, I surround myself with a small circle of my friends and family that know me, love me, and like really know who I am. So I just have to take it with a grain of salt, and like just remember, like, I'm surrounded by a greater circle than, you know, internet bullies. But the love that I've received also has been amazing. And I'm like, I want to reply to every single message, and, you know, but it's hard. It's hard.
Right. Yeah. I think you try to learn, I feel like, just not to scroll down, like like you might see that top comment, but like, just don't scroll down. Like it's like people are going to find issue with literally everything you put online. So like, just,
I could be eating a grape wrong, like, and they would be tearing me apart. It's crazy.
And, yeah, exactly. And then that lives rent free in your mind forever. So it's like just
rent free. We don't
in not a good way.
Yeah, no. I need to at least be paying a bill or two.
Yeah, literally. And then kind of wrapping it up, you know, if you think back to this first experience for you, you know, you obviously can't comment on sort of like what's immediately next for you, but what about would you do this again? Would you like, did you find this to be like a fruitful experience for you to be on Summer House, and like, do you want to continue this sort of journey that you're on with Bravo?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, I feel like now I'm at a point where I feel like my relationships with people in the house are stronger, and like, I love living with them, and like, I can't imagine living with anyone else. Like, and when I go home to Atlanta, it's like I live by myself, and if I were to have a roommate, that'd be totally weird, because I'm like, I'm gonna have roommates in the summer, like 10 of them.
Only.
Yeah, only. Like, I just want to live with them.
What kind of addition would you like? I always think about sort of like the end of a season, like what does Summer House need? Because I feel like we add somebody every single year. Like what's like a type of person or personality or something that you think could sort of like liven up the house even more?
I think that we need more male energy. Honestly, somebody who's just like rambunctious and just like, yeah,
maybe like a Kyle like 10 years ago or something, you know, like a Kyle that's single.
Yeah, I think that, we do need to switch it up. I feel like it definitely needs to be a guy. Can I say this? Like, I want it to be a gay guy. Like, I think
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I feel like we need like that type of energy in the house, you know? Like,
hey, I wouldn't argue with that.
I'm tired of like straight people, you know?
You need that gay energy to really kind of bring I agree. Post pandemic, like we need the gay party energy. I agree. I would love that.
Like, am I crazy? I was like, how do I sound politically correct when I say that?
I think you're allowed. I think you're totally allowed to say that. And then finally, I try to end with two kind of like different questions. One is, this past year has been just like such a roller coaster in so many different ways. And honestly, especially for you, like you have had so many different things that have happened to you in this past year. But, I for 2021, I'm sort of trying to have this mentality of looking forward and what am I excited for and what am I looking forward to? Because I think that we're dwelling a lot on sort of the negatives of the past 12 months. Yeah. So what for you are you looking forward to for the rest of this year?
Honestly, like being able to like spend more time with family and friends.
Yeah.
And just kind of like going out and just having like that nightlife again and just being able to go to restaurants. Like I definitely miss like the social scene. So I'm excited. I'm excited that we finally have vaccines rolling out and like, we're on the road to herd immunity. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe. Right.
But like, just kind of getting back to like normalcy.
Yeah, for sure. And then a fun one to end on, I think I've watched every single show under the sun in the past 12 months. What's a show that you have watched recently that you are either binging right now or that you would that you're recommending to people that you watched recently? I'm always taking recs.
So I am a Sex and the City guru, and like I have watched seasons 1 through 7 probably 10 million times over, and I just restart it. I can't fucking help it. But like me, I watched Bridgerton, which is amazing, and I thought I was gonna hate it. Love Bridgerton. And I was gonna give you another one. I watched This Is Us. I love this show.
Okay. I mean, the first couple seasons of This Is Us, like there's nothing better than those first couple seasons.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned Sex and the City and Bridgerton. One, what do you think of the reboot of Sex and the City happening without Samantha?
I don't love it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of mixed feelings.
Like, what are they going to say happened to her? Like, she's such an essential part of the group. Like, and I don't even really love a reboot because I just feel like sometimes it's a classic. Like, let's leave it at just that. And sometimes when we try to remake it, it's not.
It loses its magic.
Yeah, and I feel like it might be that way. Like, I honestly don't know if I care about like Carrie and Big in their 50s.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And then for Bridgerton, the Duke of Hastings isn't coming back, which is like, I know. We're upset, people.
I wonder what the storyline is going to be, but I have a lot of faith in Shonda Rhimes because she knows what she's doing. She does know what she's doing. I fully trust her. And like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not coming back. But I'm like, I do watch for him, but like I watch because Shonda is the baddest and the most amazing story writer. So
yes. So I have faith. It's a tough blow, but we'll get through it. Like it.
We're going to miss him.
We sure are. We'll see. It was really fun to talk to you and to get to know you. Where can people follow you to get more from you as Summer House continues and winds down?
I'm going to try to be more present on Twitter, but I am at Ciara Miller with 3 underscores after Miller. And I'm just on Twitter and Instagram, limited social media.
Love it. That's probably the way to go, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ciara, we'll talk again soon and have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
You too. Thanks. Thank you so much for listening. For more celebrity interviews, subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you heard, please rate and review us, as any show of support you can give us would be greatly appreciated. You can follow me at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow In The Know at In The Know on Twitter and at Watch In The Know on Instagram. We'll talk to you next time.